Hey boys and girls, it's Mrs. Hernandez again. I'm here with some more review for fractions. This time we're going to be comparing fractions with the same numerator. And as you guys have reviewed before, you remember that when you're looking at two different fractions that have the same numerator but different denominators, you're always going to be choosing the greater fraction is going to be the one that has the smaller denominator. It's completely opposite of what you would think, but we're going to go explore some today with our Woot math. So again, I'm going to show you how to get in because it's a little tricky. You follow the link for Woot math. You're going to come up with this little unhappy paper face, but don't worry about that. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to see the website. Now, remember we talked about before how Google Chrome doesn't like working with this, so we're going to click on it, then Control C, then I'm going to go down to my Explorer, Internet Explorer, and use a different browser because it doesn't really work with the other one, and I'm going to go like this. Okay, so here I'm going to Control V, and that's what makes it go inside here. So I did Control C to copy and Control V to make it go into the Explorer. Now you can type it in, but I don't know about you, this is a really long thing to type. So easier thing would be Control C to copy it from Google Chrome. I'll show you Control C. Come over here, Control V, and you wind up without having to copy all of that stuff. Okay, so here we are back on our Woot math. And I'm going to again encourage us to go all the way down towards the bottom here where we've already done the ordering with common denominators. And now we're going to look at this middle section of ordering with a common numerator. I am going to show you that after we're done with that, you can also look at some of these exercises. This one in particular is really cool. I'm going to go into it for you. Remember, you might have to enable the Adobe Flash Player, we'll see. And then I'll go into some of the other ones. This is using real life examples, like a picture of orange juice. And this picture of orange juice is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different little sections. And the juice is coming up to the third section. That's why we say this is 3/6 full. Now on this side, however, we can see that the picture is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And we can see that 3 out of the 4 sections are full. That's why this is 3/4. Now your job here would be to click and drag which of these comparisons is correct. Is this correct? Is 3/6 less than 3/4? Or is 3/6 more than 3/4? Or is it equal to 3/4? So take a good look. Which one is less? 3/6 or 3/4? Look at how high the juice is on each one. If you said that 3/6 is less, you are correct. It doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense because normally we're always looking at that bigger number to be the bigger amount, but in this case it really doesn't work that way. When you're comparing different denominators, the bigger denominator is actually usually the smaller number when you have the same numerator because you've divided this into more pieces. Okay, so it takes more of those pieces to equal the same amount. So this will be right. And remember, we click on the arrow and it goes Woot if we're right and an X if we're wrong. And then we try that again. Now let's take a look at this one. 2/3 and 2/8. Which one is greater, 2/3 or 2/8? You said 2/3. You were correct. 2/3 is greater or is more than 2/8. Woot woot. Okay. You can go back. Ooh, hot cocoa. You can go back in here and you can try a whole bunch. There's 22 different ones to try. I'm going to go back to home because I want us to go into some other stuff too. Okay, so we're going to come down here and we're going to take a look at this one right here. It's the third box on the top. And when it pops up, you're going to see 3 little dotted boxes and 3 fractions, 2/4, 2/3, and 2/7. And it asks us to arrange them in order from least or smallest to greatest or biggest. Okay, so we're going to drag each fraction into one of the boxes. You might not know right offhand, or may not, realize which one is going to be the least or greatest. So they have this handy little tool down here, and I'm going to introduce you to it. So if we click this, it's a whole. Okay, I'm going to make it go away right now. And then we have halves and thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, seventh, eighth. If I drag this over a little bit more, it goes all the way to 15ths. Pretty cool, huh? And then I can roll this. See this, how I roll this wheel? I can roll it, and it makes, if I want to make a different type of fraction, maybe I don't want to make a fraction bar to compare, maybe I want to do a circle, a pi fraction. So I can do that, okay? And then again, this would show me 1/2, or maybe it does not let me do that. There it is. Here's my 1/2 right here, okay? All right. So, but I think for in this case, the easiest thing to do would be to make the fraction that are there, and I'm going to put them right under here and match them up with the fractions, and then it'll be easy to see which is the least or the smallest, and what's the greatest or the biggest, and what's in the middle, kind of like Goldilocks and 3 Bears, right? Okay, so the first one says 2/4, right? So I'm going to click 2 of my fourths. Here's 1. Here's 2, and I'm going to drag this right next to it so I can see that that is 2/4. Now for 2/3, I'm going to go to my thirds here, and I'm going to click. Oops, it sticks it on the end of this, so you got to kind of move it. So 2/3, right? So that's 1/3, 2/3. I'm going to take this and put it right here. Now this is 2/7. Okay, where's my sevenths? Oh, right here. Okay, I'm going to remember it's going to stick it here at the beginning. You got to move it down. Okay. So here's 1/7, 2, 3, oops, only 2/7, Mrs. Hernandez. Okay, so 2/7, I got a little carried away. All right, so now it's easy to see which one is the least, which one is the greatest, right? So the least one is the shortest one. Well, we can see right away that 2/7 is shortest, so I'm going to drag it right here. Voila. Then what's the greatest? Well, which one's the longest? Right away you can see 2/3 is the greatest, and then 2/4 is in the middle. Okay, so the least to the greatest looks like this, and I'm going to check it. Woo woo. Okay, so now they're going to have me do another one. I'm going to compare 2/10, 2/4, and 2/7. So first I'm going to find my tenths. I'm going to swing this over here. Ooh, I got my tenths. I'm going to move it over here, and it says 2/10. So I'm going to put 2/10, and I'm going to drag my 2/10 here. Then it says 2/4. Okay, swing it back here. There's my fourths. Oh, remember, it's going to stick it at the end of the previous one. You just got to move it down. That's 1, 2, 2/4. Okay, great. And then it says 2/7. All right, so here's my sevenths. Okay, remember, you got to make it do its own column. 1, 2. All right, so now it is also easy to see which one is least and which is greatest and what is in between. So the least is the smallest one, and we can see 2/10 is, oops, 2/10 is right away. And then we can see that the greatest one is 2/4, and the one in the middle is 2/7. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these. You can see there's tons of questions to practice. When you're done with that one, you can go back to the home page, and you can try to do compare 4 fractions. This will come up, okay? Now you can try 4 fractions and try your hand at that. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can go back and try some of these other ones here. You're going to have to drag and put them on a whole piece I really like this one though, because it does show us what this looks like in real life. So maybe you can try that out too. Okay, when you're all done, you can go back to, not this page, but you're going to go back down to the folder, and you're going to see a little quiz here, and you can go ahead and do real simple, easy breezy, lemon squeezy little review for you there, and then we can see if you got it correct. And you're allowed to try that out one time, and it'll give you some feedback.